what it's telling
1,
me.
2.
I understand, but I don't know how the scene could be no pointer if we've got this far.
Say something. So what should we do? A little tutorial maybe? And where's the chat? Why can't I see the chat? America has a new president. Like you didn't know. Coding music without ads. Let's do that. Excuse me. 1, 2, 1, 2. Okay. It's been a tough day. And I didn't really, it's not really right to stream. But sometimes it's like I just can't waste a day. You can't waste a day. Actually, it's a famous quote. It's a terrible thing to waste a day. Let's use that. It's a terrible thing to waste a day. No, 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 no. It's a terrible thing to waste a day. Me, Albert Einstein said it. Nobody's took credit for that. I don't know who said that. Okay. What am I going to do today, you ask? Let's put on Kick. So we're on Twitch, YouTube, and let's put Kick on. Will that work nicely? Yeah, okay, I'm just gonna, you have to excuse me while I jump into Twitch and Kick and just say hello, make sure we're connected. 28 followers on Twitch. Welcome all, feel free to get me on YouTube, same handle. As you can see, I don't try to build my other channels so much. And Kick, maybe I need to be on Rumble as well, because that's clearly gonna grow. And is growing and growing. Okay, we have some chat GPT as well, obviously. There we go, I needed my blue light. A little reflection to pop. What's my hair saying? Shout out my barber, Dan, yesterday. And okay, code's ready to go. I'm gonna launch up the engine. Have a little look. What time is it? 3:30 in the morning, UK. I need to open that chat, don't I? I know I always forget. So what can we do? I can drop that a little bit. What do I need to look at today? Actually, I have one feature, generate cave, not that one. But if I take the grid off, you can see it's just generated you'll see underneath. See how the terrain has changed. Just created like a hole, basically. Yeah, it's come down, destroyed it. And before it was like that. Flat. Okay, let's try and do a little tutorial today. Even a short one. It's better than nothing. So what I'll do, I'll bring this across here. And just see what files we have. Animation, callback, character. These aren't mine, these are just, oops, IMGUI. This is the user interface. What else have we got? Seems like not a lot, but there must be 15,000 lines of code here. So it's definitely a lot. Draw, debug, lighting. Goodness, I barely remember what this function does. It obviously takes the lights. There's a chat button. Yeah. Mesh, water renderer, grid. Okay, maybe let's talk through some physics, maybe. what have we got here? Okay, so here's a little bit on physics. Let's see what I can remember from the code. Just saying hi to a friend. Just who I'm bringing in the chat. Okay, so this is the character that walks around the world. And this function, so this is the function header. And this is everything that's passed to the function of the character, a BT dynamics world. Now what is a BT dynamics world? It's not that. So this is essentially your whole 3D physics engine, the data of it. So you're passing it a reference indicated by the star, so a pointer. So you're not passing the actual data, but just the memory space. You're calling it world, so you'd address it by using the word world. So you're passing data to the character function, and then you're also giving it some floats, which is your decimal numbers. So not like 1, but something with a decimal in 1.0. So this is the X and the Y and the Z. So the X, the Y and the Z, the depth, the 3D space where your character will start. So what that means is this constructor, this function will be called once, and we'll be telling the physics engine where to place the character. So if we look for this in code, we will see that some information is passed to where it starts. So we'll do that to see how it works. Now where does this exist? I think it's in character, right? We are in, can you see? Yeah, character.cpp, so the CPP file. So it will have a corresponding, you can't see it, let's bring it over here. A corresponding .h header file. So this will be, this is like the blueprint of that function. So the header file just tells us, it just defines the function, or in this case the constructor. So when we first call a character and make one, we need to provide this information. So it probably happens in main. So let's go to main here. And if we look for some early reference of character, I'm just scrolling to see where we are. It's like 5,000 lines of code here. So if we look for some references to character, we should see the data being passed. So first we create an instance, our first and only instance of a character, a reference. Let's keep going. Character active. I think there's a setup function somewhere that will have it, that's called maybe at the bottom. Let's keep looking. Okay, so we have a function here. Where does this function exist? Within main, called initialize. Okay, so let's look for when this function is called, because it must be called somewhere. Okay, here. So line 1000, which is quite early on, and it's before we get into the game loop. The game loop starts here, so it's while we're still loading resources. So we do initialize, and what do we pass to initialize? As I said earlier, some passing character start locations. The 2 forward slashes, by the way, means we're just writing a comment. We're giving ourselves some documentation, or whoever looks at our code next. So this must get passed to the initialize function, and then we'll probably use the same data. So they become represented by the X, Y, and Z, and then we create a new character, and we're passing that X, Y, and Z, which was the 17, minus 17, X, Y, and the 37. which calls the character constructor. We pass the dynamics world pointer. So what does that mean? Let's find the first reference of this, which, as I said, it would be something to do with physics. Okay, dynamics world pointer. So pointer is not the actual data; it's pointing to something. So really, it's called dynamics world. So what's the first reference? The dynamics world, and it's here. So you can see again, yep, it's right at the start of our code. I believe we're main, yeah. I wasn't sure because characters highlighted there, but we're in main. Main is always the first unit, the first bit of code that your program looks at. So dynamics world is we're creating something new. It's called a BT, which stands for bullet, which is a physics engine. Discrete dynamics world. And we're passing whatever this is, a lot of information, a lot of tools. So this is where we set up the physics engine. So then we take that what was it, dynamics world. Here we just dynamics world, we're putting it into the pointer. We're basically, we can use either of these two names to reference it. I don't want to sneeze on down the microphone, but it may happen. So either of these will now reference this physics engine we've generated here. So let's go initialize as we was doing. Initialize. And we create the new character and we pass it the physics engine and the coordinates. And then we have a character. If I click control on the character, it'll take us back here. And this is back where we started. Such a itchy nose. Okay, let's run this. I definitely caused some damage to my, so I broke my physics engine when I was adding some, or at least a portion of it, when I was adding some features, and I didn't know because I was working on another part of the engine. And then a month later you just realize something's broken and you don't know where it was broken. Excuse me. So maintenance is it's important to be checking your features. Because to break something and know and fix it and just keep things in shape is one thing, but to not know something's actually broken because the code base becomes so big, that's a different problem. Okay, the engine is just loading. So let's see where that actually takes place in our code. I don't know if I can demonstrate it because I've not looked at this for a while, but I think we can. Okay, so I gave it some coordinates. Let's just turn the light on using our tool here, just off screen. I'll bring it in. And okay. I need to sneeze. I didn't need to sneeze for the last year, but as soon as I put the stream on, I need to sneeze. Okay, physics engine I think is done down here. View physics engine. Let me just turn off a few other things. So where we passed in the details, like the -17, the -17, it was a start location. You see these lines here? That's representing something in the physics engine that we don't need to see, but we just turn it on and off to debug. But amongst all of this, so it's minus 17, minus 17. There is also the player character. And that's what I'm trying to find. So follow character, so it's here, I believe. Where's it gone? I need to turn this grid off so we can see. I don't want to be sniffing on screen. Nice, we've got a little crash off screen. Why are we getting these crashes? Let's try that again. So if we generate, let's create a wireframe so it's easy to render. Take the grid away. So normally what we have is we can see the character, which is just it's just represented in the engine by a little mesh. Where are we? Can't even see the world now. But you can see things are running slow because there's so much. All of this is the world it's drawing. This is a representation of the physics engine. So everything you see is things it's like it's the foundation, it's the plane. So we'll turn that off. It's basically the flat ground. You can see these lines. There we are. So this is the character. So if I press this button here, I will take control of the character here. So you won't see it because we're on top of it. If I press follow character, we are now where the capsule was. And if I take view physics engine off, what I need is, we want to be able to view the physics engine so we can see the plane. This is the ground. So here we think we have the real ground. We think this here is the ground of the world. But as far as the code is concerned, the actual ground was the one beneath. Let's have a look. This here, underneath, this is the real world. This is where the CPU would do the calculations. If you put your character here, it will just fall straight through. This is your real physics engine. This is just artwork that's just being rendered. And you have to, the goal is to code them so they match, they align. Which is, it's not so difficult to do. So how would you do that? I will go into that now actually. how will we do that? What I'm doing is I'm just adding a title to the stream.